Hello, Twilight Struggle fans, and welcome to Game of the Week here on Action Round Zero. Justin Abramson here with you, and today I've got a Polish League game for you between Pawel Januszewski and Jarek Grzaslewicz. So, a couple of great players from Poland, a country known for its excellent Twilight Struggle play and its very difficult to pronounce last names. And let's go ahead and dive right in. These two are very familiar with Action Round Zero, Twilight Struggle's biggest stage. And we are watching from Jarek's side today. He is the USSR. And here's his turn one hand, and folks, it's a monster. We've got D-Call, we've got D-Stall, we've got two 4-ops, we've got a nice space card in NORAD, and we've got IP War, EEU, and Korean War. So, perhaps a little bit of awkwardness with this hand, with D-Call, D-Stall in that hand. Marshall and NORAD, two cards you really don't want to play for ops on turn one. Korean War, which is a little bit of an awkward card to have on turn one, because you want to make sure you take South Korea before you punt the war for ops. So while this is a very strong hand, it's a little bit of a tricky one as well. I suspect we'll start with D-Call. There is no other headline here. So I think this is probably a situation where you're going to go ahead and risk defectors. Yep, and sure enough he does. And that's bad luck for Jarek. But I don't think it was the wrong play. I don't think you can headline any of these other cards. You certainly don't want to headline Korean War. You certainly don't want to headline EEU. IP War would be the only real potential headline, but you're really throwing away those ops, which you're going to need after your D-Call. So yeah, I don't disagree with the decision at all here. Okay, this needs to go into Lebanon or Egypt. Yeah, okay, so Egypt and Lebanon, and going to take West Germany. And interestingly, Pawel forgoes Malaysia, given that he just saw D-Call. Probably figuring correctly that Jarek does not have Vietnam, because I think we would have seen Vietnam in the headline before D-Call, especially given that France was covered. Okay, and here's a 2-op coup of Iran. Needs a big roll to get in and does not get it. Okay, now DEFCON down to 2, and I suspect we will see D-Stall right now. I don't think there's a good reason to wait. The one Yugoslavia influence could be important. I don't know. I might leave that one Yugoslavia influence with... Okay, so Venezuela makes sense. Angola makes sense. Libya makes sense. I think I might have put that one in Asia into Laos instead. Just so Pawel didn't have the chance to dump Asia if he had it. But okay. I was mentioning the Yugoslavia influence. Could have kept that there. Oh, and there's Europe. So just going to score Europe right away. Could have kept the Yugoslavia influence, potentially jam Italy later, or use with SOC Govs, but probably getting removed with the EU anyway because you're going to need those ops. Okay, there goes CIA into Malaysia. Going to force Jarek to fill up Thailand. So this has to go one Thailand and I assume one South Korea. You really don't want to leave South Korea empty. And you're going to have to give one of these cards, both of which are annoying. And you're going to have to cover up Venezuela. You really want to get into Zaire. You really want to lock up Libya. You'd like to get Middle East domination. You'd like to get at least one more into South Korea. Lots of good choices for these ops. This would probably go Egypt, I would assume. Yeah, sure enough, it does. Jarek needs a 6. He doesn't get it. So I think, yeah, gonna give Marshall. Overprotect Thailand, take Libya, take Venezuela, and then I don't know, it is probably Laos to take Dom. Laos or Syria to take Dom in one of the two regions. Thailand's a must. Venezuela's a must. I gotta think. No. You've got to go Venezuela. Thailand, Venezuela, Libya. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, This is either way. Either this or the Lao play would have been fine. Marshall, so painful to give up on this board. Very useful influence in France and Italy, but like suppose less painful with Europe scored. So Pawel finds himself behind in Asia, finds himself behind in the Middle East, along with South America, although Jarek does not get into Chile with his D-stall, decides to go Libya instead. We'll see if that works out for him. Ooh, a big 4-op, so they're not going to hold Purge. Takes Israel to stop Middle East Dom. This would seem to me to be a pretty clear Vietnam headline to take Asia Dom, I would think, followed by a coup in Panama. This is, nice, easy Vietnam. Bert the Turtle is frustrating. A nice 3 VP for Pawel, and no war cards in hand for Jarek. De Gaulle could be an interesting event here. Get you access to Syria, get you access to Libya, takes a couple out of France, but could be met by an immediate Truman. So maybe not the right play. So De Gaulle, going to punt De Gaulle for ops. I think that makes sense given the access we have here. Okay, 2 ops should stop Asia Dom. Yep, there it is. And I think if you're Jarek, you just go ahead and score in the Middle East. No, I don't think that's right. If you're gonna do this, I think you got to take Lao. I think I'd just score him in Middle East Dom. Okay. I'm gonna retake Asia Dom, but that's a play that can be answered with just a 1-op in Philippines. 1-op in Philippines and 1-op in Jordan stops both Doms. IP War was played turn 1. So, okay, it's just a 4-op. We'll certainly see. Interesting. Stops only Dom in the Middle East and not in Asia. Tells me Pawel has Asia and plans on scoring it later, perhaps. Now Middle East is even. But if Jarek gives it here, but if Jarek 5-year plans Middle East here, then he's going to lose an AR unless he also plays China. Okay, there goes CNS. I think you just score the Middle East here, and then you don't have to miss an AR, but maybe not. Maybe you go Pakistan, India here. Pawel thinking about his Vietnam bonus. Yeah, this seems fine. This is a conventional play. Now 1 Philippines doesn't stop Dom. Still haven't seen Nasser, by the way. Oh, C5. So no Asia in Pavel's hand. That's not coming until turn 3, so that's a big break for Pawel. Jarek's going to go ahead and score the Middle East rather than 5-year planning it, so he doesn't have to miss AR6. Instead, he'll just skip AR5. Yep, okay, so my De Gaulle idea was not a very good one, not particularly inspired. I wonder if you just take India here and then maybe one Brazil. I would like to... Oh, I got to get into Zaire. Burma plays a little weird. I think I'd rather take India because still a 5 still flips Pakistan. An IP war is played, so it's not guaranteed to come turn 3. Govs heads off to space. The roll is missed. And here we go to turn number 3. Have not seen Blockade. Have not seen Nasser. And Jarek gets neither of those. So they're both sitting in Pawel's hand. Redraws here are quite mediocre. Happy to see IP war, though, certainly. Pawel also gets Asia, which might be the headline here. Not 100% certain what the headline is here for Pawel. I guess it's Suez, which gives you a very temporary Middle East dom. Yeah, containment. I think just 2 out of each of the battlegrounds is the play here. Oh, okay, you want to get special off. That makes sense. I think this is a pretty clear Panama, right? Because a 4 wipes him out. Yeah, that's a great 4, whereas a 4 in Algeria does next to nothing. So Pawel now has a 2-op Blockade, a 2-op Nasser. He's got Asia scoring, among other things. So independent red's got to go into Brazil. Yep. Nasser going to space for 2 ops. The roll hits, but I don't think Jarek is going to space back. I think I'd finish taking Brazil and I'd get into South Africa at this point. I'd like to see at least one in South Africa here. We have no access. Looks like we're not getting into Nigeria, and Pawel might just head there. So I think locking up South Africa could be important. And yeah, he just puts 3 in there right away. Good chance we see a 5-year plan of Romanian. Oh, Blockade also going to space. So 2 1-op cards going to space instead of being evented. It's interesting. EU, certainly Pawel, happy to see that one gone for ops. And Jarek deciding, do I want to give mill ops here or not? He decides he does want to give him, and a big roll. We'll see if Pawel can match that under containment. Truman needs a 4, and he will get a 6. Got to go one Venezuela. I'm honestly fine filling India here, but okay. Yeah, going to go with the aggressive play, Uruguay. I like that. If he coups Uruguay, he's not taking Nigeria. And there goes Warsaw. Finally, a little bit into Eastern Europe. Yeah, going to try the big coup in Uruguay, and he won't get it. Just a 2. Wipes out influence there. Okay. We head on to turn 4. Okay, Che's only 1 coup, but it's reasonable here. Duck and CRGs are quite annoying. Muslims could do some damage here. Would also protect from missile envy. And Africa. Okay, so just the 2 in Africa. And now with that Muslim play, really no coup targets here. So Algeria is the only legal target that lowers DEFCON, other than, of course, Israel, which is a force tab, and South Africa, which is already red. But I still think you have to do it, right? So Che would have been domination here. I wonder if we will see one small step invented here. And these two guys are talking. Clearly this is going to be Saudi and Egypt. And I think you just have to coup afterward, don't you? All right, I like this play. Attack the 2 countries in South America, and if we see a Colombia coup, this makes sense too. Uruguay attacks Argentina, Chile. Colombia attacks Panama. Cameroon attacks Nigeria, and then of course whichever one he coups, you can coup back with Che and also hit Saharan states. Okay, Korean War. And there's Che, so we're going to see both those 1 stabs cooed. 1 on anything but us. Anything but a 1. And then just enough in Colombia. Big number from Camp David means Panama is likely going to be blue unless Jarek wants to try and get a huge roll here. Yeah, duck for ops would seem to make sense here. You just don't want a coup, which is unusual as the USSR, but you got better things to do than coup at the moment. Oh, ABM in Argentina. Anything but a 1, and he gets a 3. Just enough. Okay, so a little bit of a tough decision to be made here. You could take China and jam it into Argentina. You could take cultural and jam it into Argentina. You could trigger one small step. You could space. Okay, decides to space and misses on the roll. Oh, goodness. Sorry about that, folks. Did not realize the video would restart. I apologize for the... Okay. Okay. There we have it. Pawel gets into Panama as well as Chile. Now takes Mexico. And so South America looking even. And now, finally, looking at a poke of Argentina, but it's a lot less effective at this point. So Pawel outrolls Jarek in South America and beats him to Panama, Chile, and Argentina, despite Jarek having Che. ABM was also quite helpful there as well. And Jarek triggered one small step. Yeah, going to protect here. And the poke in Egypt so that Sadat will flip it over. Okay, and there's the China Jam. Boy, I would have liked to see that China Jam much earlier, before Chile had been taken, I think. But, okay. And there's a presenceless central dom for Pawel. And a garbage hand for Jarek. Woof. Look at these one-ops. Puppets is a problem. R-Man held over, that's a problem. AI War. AI War is a little bit sexy here because a 6 completely flips Israel. But I think Allende is probably the better headline because it does give you a South America dom, however temporarily. Jarek needs a way to break into Central America. Okay, Missile Envy is going to pull Arms Race, so that's kind of a big nothing. It does mean the coup is limited to 2 ops instead of 3, and going to require a 6 to really do anything. Nice, easy. Ooh, Argentina. Thinking about Argentina. And he rolls just a 3. Okay, so just a 3-op can fix both Chile and Argentina. And that's exactly what will happen. Coup of Guatemala makes sense. I assume Kitchen's probably not all that close. No. Still haven't seen Nixon or Usuri. Oh, and there's Brush. Flower power in effect. This will hit Libya, and it's going to succeed. That's a big flip. Now, once Sadat comes, the Middle East will be even again. One small step is gone. I suppose you could space here. You could also put a third into Egypt in case Pawel has the scoring but doesn't have Sadat. Okay, just a 1-op into Brazil, interestingly. Not 100% sure what that was for. Brazil can't be jammed. Okay, space race roll fails for Pawel. We'll see if Jarek decides he wants to space back. Grain and voice both also still unseen. Okay, and a miss there from Jarek. That's probably a relief for him. He wants to keep that option to space 2 is available. And a 1-up coup in Guatemala does nothing. Yep, Jarek decides to poke Libya before Sadat goes off. That makes sense. Jarek maybe looking to hold Omid until turn 6 and trigger it then when it's generally not as painful. Okay, there goes Formosa. I'm going to fix Libya and take Egypt in full. That suggests we are looking at a potential domination situation, and he needs to get this scoring off. Jarek doesn't want to let him do it. So a 2-op here could just take Libya and Jordan. Okay, gonna give Omid. I get you could have just gone 1 Iraq, 1 Libya here. With cultural, we will bear you to call Portuguese. Okay, that's pretty nice. And there goes Middle East. Okay. So, Jarek hangs on to cultural, but he is not able to score Middle East Dom. Okay, still no power cards here for Jarek. He does get Grain and OAS. Alliance is 3. That's a little bit of a problem. Quagmire, nice to have. C5 could hit either of the Americas, could also hit Southeast or Europe, although it's not going to do very much in Europe. So you're just hoping not to hit that. Needs a huge number here, and he gets it. Oh, that's a South America Dom, except Cambridge 5 is going to flip over Argentina. Yeah, I think this is 1, 2, 3, and then Cameroon maybe. Maybe India. Okay, yeah, thinking about setting up those realigns. Pawel has made his move here, and we'll see what he comes up with on AR1. Remember, he's got South America scoring in his hand. I wonder if he'll just score it right away. Yeah, and he does. He does not want to deal with that, having that known scoring card in his hand. Now, I wonder if we will see grains spaced. I wonder if this may be boy, Alliance is 4. 3 with a poke, but that's still VPs you don't want to be giving up in a close game like this. Yeah, I got a space grain. Okay, that hits. Anything but a 1 there gives Pawel a central dom. Japan doesn't really matter at the moment, but Jarek is going to challenge Pawel in Central America, even though he knows he doesn't have the scoring. On El Salvador, good enough for a domination in Central. And we'll see how Jarek wants to play this. Cultural could be a 3-op coup. Just enough to stop the domination. Now I wonder if we'll just see a coup in Guatemala, which would mean a presenceless dom. Yeah, Fidel obviously has to go to space. That one hits, so now neither player can space 2s and neither player with headline peak. Jam makes sense as well. Jarek really doesn't want to give up Alliance or OAS. Okay, and now Usuri for ops. That can stay in the deck. I wonder if we'll see a Quagmire event. We will. So did Pawel save a 2? He did, but he's going to have to discard the Pope. So break for Jarek there. We move to turn 7. Here's Central and some annoying blue cards. So Jarek's certainly happy that defectors waited till turn 7 to come, and Kennedy as well. And Sadat waited as well. Okay, so Libs makes sense with Central in hand. Okay, there goes Europe. A nice 6 VP play for Pawel. I think this is just 1 in each of the 3 battlegrounds, isn't it? Or, okay, maybe not. Okay, Alliance finally going to give it up for just 2 this time. Oh, and a huge miss. Now, folks, let's also keep an eye on Chile. It is imminently realignable at +1. But yeah, boy, needed a 3 on that coup. Now Pawel's going to be able to take back both countries, and Jarek is going to have to score right away so he doesn't get dominated. So Pawel finally looks like he's going to get into Nigeria. Jarek could have Jarek could have scored. Instead, he spaced. He's betting that he can get out of this central for just 2. No, he's going to score right there. Boy, I'm having a tough time understanding that. Okay, there's southeast. Yeah, I think I would have scored that save. Having Guatemala there saves you 3 VPs guaranteed. Right? Saves you 3 VPs guaranteed versus space, which only has a 50% chance of getting you an extra 3 VPs. A little surprised by that. Okay, so now the coup in Sahara, and anything but a 1. Oh, and a big roll of a 6. So this could be a self-trap. Give yourself 2 chances to get out. Hold OAS. And what else do you overprotect? Korea's our candidates. Okay, and here comes the self-trap with the bear trap icon sitting right there in the middle. Okay, OPEC had to go to space. Hit it. Now, folks, I know we just saw a Pawel game last week, so we're back at it again with him. But hope you'll enjoy it anyway. Got some great players here on Action Round 0. Pawel is certainly one of those. And there's VOA, just to be a little bit annoying in Asia. Going to repair North Korea, but not South. And I assume we'll see Brezhnev on AR-7. And Brezhnev could just go South Korea here. Yeah, that's exactly what it'll do. And here we go on to the late war. Oh boy, and a nice hand here. Muslims is huge at this moment. Purge, always huge. 5-year plan is great here with OAS. Iron Lady, not a problem. Puppets cannot go to space, but it's not really a problem here on turn 8. And then Usuri will go to space. So this is a very nice hand for Jarek, even though he's down 10 VP. And at the moment, other than Missile Envy, he does not have a path to stopping war games. Purge can sometimes be devastating in the late war. Pawel has made his headline. Missile Envy, obviously a possible headline here, but We Will Bury You is around. And there's the Pope, which was discarded to Quagmire. And now there goes Poland just sitting at 1-3. Truman is still in the deck, folks. Going to go Venezuela and flip it. Wow. Okay, so takes domination now in South America. Needed a 5, and he got it. Still needs to sneak into Nigeria. Oh, had the GG all set up. But no war games. Maybe one of them will finally take Nigeria. Or Muslim event. Yeah, Muslim event makes sense here too. Yeah, I like taking the 5 out of Egypt. Just make them refill. Don't let AWACS get played here. So that's a quick turn of events here. South America goes from even to Soviet domination, as does the Middle East, just like that. Glasnost for a coup. He's got to have a 3, and he gets it. Flips over Libya and no access back into Egypt. So a big play there for Pawel. That was a risky play. You missed that. You're going to lose Egypt as well, along with the 2 VPs. And Jarek pokes Israel to force Pawel to fill Egypt, thinking maybe he doesn't have the ops because he took that risk. Yep. And there's China for 3 ops in the Middle East. Pretty lame use of the China card, but that's what it's going to be. And happy to get China back. Usuri will go to space. Wonder if we'll see it go there right now, in fact. Yes, it does. Okay, and now Jarek gets to space discard. Oh, and Asia's scoring. So we got a 10 VP lead for Pawel has now been trimmed to 3. Although South Korea was flipped with VOA. What does Puppets do here? Potentially Cuba if you're not worried about Ortega. Okay, gonna go. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, Pakistan. Afghanistan makes sense. Attack Pakistan. And then Czech Republic for potential tear down this wall stuff. Missile envy. Probably not an event here, given that We Will Bury You loses the game. Probably also not too worried about a flip in Africa, but you could be worried about that next turn. You could just overprotect him now while the getting's good. This is quite a close game. Okay, gonna event Missile Envy. So crossing his fingers here, hoping not to see We Will Bury You. Will he see it? I don't know what that means, folks. Sorry about that. So Jarek dominates in Asia and South America and Africa. Pawel dominates in Central and Europe. The Middle East is even, and Pawel holds a 5 VP lead. Extremely close game here. Let's see what Missile Envy pulls. Looks like it's going to pull a red or neutral card. CMC does nothing here. Missile Envy just essentially stolen up. Okay, 1 into Turkey to potentially cancel CMC if necessary. But I don't think it'll be necessary. This, I assume, will just go into Venezuela. Jarek will repair. And then needs to overprotect in Africa, right? Oh, we're going to just overprotect Venezuela. Africa looks like a region that needs overprotecting. And there's Willie. So there is a VP. Okay, Afghanistan's a VP later. I suppose, it's a VP later, but it also stops domination. So that is, Afghanistan is an important country. Taiwan now also becomes important. But here we go to turn 9. Tear down in hand for Jarek. That'll be his space card, certainly. Latin American debt crisis doesn't do much. Nasser is annoying. And in matter of fact, might be the headline, yeah. And there's CIA. Okay, so CIA will take a coup in Africa, certainly. So SALT could be an event here potentially as well. And also significantly, Pawel sees Ortega in Jarek's hands, so now we'll probably feel more free to take Cuba, although Fidel, I believe, is still around. Oh, and not good enough on the roll in Zaire. Still, though, need a 3-op to both secure it and Nigeria. Okay. Want to secure Egypt as well, probably figuring here that if Pawel decides he wants to flip something in Africa, that's okay. A SALT event would mean a flip back. Would mean that's a good coup target. Also got a huge 4VP space roll coming up. Pershing not going to do very much at all as an event. So that will be played for ops. And once again, folks, we have realigns available in Chile. They've been sitting there for probably about 4 turns. And they have not, and Jarek has taken them. Okay, and going to take Czech Republic. Czechoslovakia, I'm a little bit confused by that. Because there goes Star Wars. It's gone. I don't understand that. Now, tear down, because tear down's going to be spaced. Star Wars is gone, and SALT is in Jarek's hand. So it's not, tear down is not coming back. So and country count's not an issue for Pawel in Europe. I'm a little bit confused by that play. Maybe the chat will be able to enlighten me as to why he took that particular course of action. Looking at the discard pile, OPEC certainly seems appealing, although, of course, you have to worry about North Sea oil. Purge for turn 10, also very nice. Sure, what he'd really like to pick up is Asia's scoring, but that's not allowed. So I would have thought at this point we'd see overprotection in Nigeria and Zaire. A coup of Cameroon makes sense as well. Yeah, coup Cameroon makes sense because, okay, I wonder if we're going to see solidarity. Maybe we're worried about some combination of solidarity, Chernobyl, EEU with that Czechoslovakia take, although I still don't understand it, knowing you're not going to get teardown. Okay, here's a coup in Peru. So, okay, he stops the realigns, and now a Guatemala coup, not a Cameroon coup. So still Africa can be flipped, or rather, one country in Africa can be flipped. No longer are the realigns in Chile a threat. They were for a while. And he takes the Guatemala coup, which is interesting. I think I would have gone Cameroon instead, especially with Africa unscored. Okay, and there's space to stop the discard, space of teardown for 4 VPs. Misses, huge miss there. Now, both players may have a shot at the 4 VP space next turn. PCR for 1 op. Pershing just a mild annoyance here. Really wants the VP. Keep Pawel far from War Games range. Okay, decall. That's very nasty here. Especially with country count in Asia deadlocked. Yeah, I don't understand why it'd be anything else. No, ooh. So he uses decall for the overprotection. I'm a little surprised at that. I would have used it in Southeast Asia, I think. Because now that's an easy 2-op repair. Okay, Latin American debt crisis for the event. Again, that doesn't do a ton. Could get 2 more into Chile, but it can easily be fixed by a 2. Yeah, all right. So it's gonna trigger, but that Chile, okay, and get you 10 in Venezuela. I don't know how worth it that was. I think I would have rather used that in Nigeria and Zaire and used decall in Southeast Asia. Okay, yeah. So he has YouTube, but doesn't discard it. There goes another VP. And now Camp David going to give a VP away to take things back to 3 and going to hold Salt to turn 10. So Salt known in Jarek's hand now. And there's Truman. So perhaps Pawel was thinking about setting up a Truman play, but he doesn't get any of the other Europe attack cards to help him do it. Okay, so here we go, turn 10. There's an active solidarity. It's a pretty darn mediocre turn 10 hand, although Fidel, very nice to see. NORAD is harmless. Arms race could be an event. What's your headline here? I guess it's got to be Fidel. So Jarek ahead in this one in the Middle East, ahead in Africa, ahead in South America. All 3 of which are unscored. And certainly Jarek was hoping to get at least one of those regions, one of those scoring cards in his hand. Pawel ahead in Europe and Central. Those are 5 each, so 10. 13, 12. So okay, and there, oh my goodness, and that's going to do it. Wow, worried about an Aldrich or terrorism play here, and how I learned gets so Jarek gets the victory with the turn 10 gunman headline. Now that was a pretty brutal hand. From Pawel. Pawel also had blockade. It wasn't going to be able to discard to it, which was going to be a huge issue. I think Pawel realized that if he was not able to discard to blockade, that he was not going to win that game. So I think the gunman headline made sense, even though neither terrorism nor Aldrich came up that entire game. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that game as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Jarek, the winner, turn 10 DEF CON. But that's going to do it for our coverage of Twilight Struggle today. For Anton Scott, our executive producer, this is Justin Abramson. So long for now. That was fun, but now it's done.
I heard a young father, a very prominent young man in the entertainment world, addressing a tremendous gathering in California. It was during the time of the Cold War, and communism and our own way of life were very much on people's minds, and he was speaking to that subject. And suddenly, though, I heard him say, "I love my little girls more than anything," and I said to myself, "Oh no, don't, you can't, don't say that." But I had underestimated him. He went on, "I would rather see my little girls die now, still believing in God, than have them grow up under communism and one day die no longer believing in God." And thereby remove yourself from the struggle between right and wrong.